been for a swim in the pool. Yeah boy. So out here we've got a bit of a garden going on, and this is the best $250 I've ever spent. This pool, a bit of a greenhouse out here. So my wife's a few plants of the wife sort of mucks around with. And it's just started to flower. It's quite cool. It's got some beautiful flowers. A couple carnivorous plants out here. I managed to get quite cheap, and I'm sort of just bringing them back. Seem to be not doing too bad. A bit of new growth coming through, so very humid out here. Notice that all those Inkbird thermostats that I run are all Wi-Fi controlled with my phone, and they have high and low settings. As you can possibly hear this one beeping away saying that the temperature's too warm. It sends a notification to my phone. So it's just an alarm going off. It's 30 degrees in here, which is a little bit warm. So I've got a few varieties of plants in here. Some cacti that I've been mucking around with. I've never really done cactus before. It's a bit of trial and error. Some of these. Big Nepenthes. I never thought this was going to put out any pictures, but it finally has, and it's gone absolutely nuts. These are young pitchers, so there's still a lot of growing to go, and it's climbing. So I'm quite happy to see how that turns out. You get a lot of bugs out here. So I've got a heater at one end and a fan at the other, blowing cool air, well, warm air, and it's just sprinkler systems running through the whole greenhouse that I've just had running before. This whole unit I run on solar, which is on that shed, and rainwater runs from this roof into those holding tanks, and that's where I pump my rainwater for watering the gardens and this greenhouse. Pretty basic system. So about 400 litres I think total. It runs through a pump, and then just up through here and does its thing. Here's my mealworm farm that I've sort of just started. A million beetles and sort of doing their thing at the moment. It's quite cool. I've never done before, so they all seem to be quite happy, quite busy, and hopefully laying eggs. I've actually got a grate on the bottom of that, and the eggs drop through into here and go through the cycle again. So it's a 4-draw system, but I'll probably end up only using 3. We'll see how it goes. Just a bit of trial and error. I've never done it before. Got a few more carnivorous plants in here. I could tell you all the names, but I don't really know them, so most of them are Nepenthes apart from that one. Got some pothos. We've got all sorts of things growing in here. These are quite cool. Yeah, the pictures on these are beautiful. This one, they've really taken off in the past month. This is another one. The bugs get caught in the little droplets and it feeds on those. There's my Daphnia culture, which is a bit struggling at the moment, but sort of trial and error with this as well. I haven't done that before, so everything's trial and error. And carry on out here. It's one of my ponds. It's got a couple of goldfish in there and a albino axolotl. Where she's hiding. Soon know when she bites me. Down the bottom, I think, hiding in one of her caves. She's quite cool. I named her Lottie. She comes, I feed her every morning and night. She comes up and grabs her food. So this tank here I fill from the rainwater tanks that I fill 2 aquariums with, because it's just a blackwater tank and one of my Episto tanks. Just as it's a bit softer, lower pH. These are my 2 main holding tanks for all the other tanks, aquariums. Which is, I think, is a marvellous idea. I mean, it's quite simple, and all the pipe work. So I just got an air pump aerating them all the time, so they're full of plenty of oxygen. As I fill them with tap water, they just condition them and let them aerate for a day or 2 or however long it is before I need to use the water. I really need another 2 tanks, but I don't have the room for it, just to make life a bit easier. There's a bit of a garden out here, we need to mow the lawns, but when you have the time at the moment. So this is one of the other ponds that I made. It's really taken off. This is where the goldfish have gone, 3 of them, and chuck some random guppies in there. Seem to like it in there. I got my earthworms under there. Haven't checked them for a while, but hopefully they're doing okay. My cichlids love to eat those guys, the biches. So we'll go into the fish room outside. So it's very hot in here during summer. It's very hard to control. Currently it's 28 degrees, which is too hot. I've just taken the lids off the 700 planted tank just to try and get a bit of heat out of them, but as you can see, I've got that one set at 25.2 and it's sitting at 25.6. I mean, this same again, this tank or any of these tanks in here, bar the blackwater tank, will very, very rarely run the heaters because of the ambient temperature. So these guys are doing really well. The plants surprisingly aren't doing too bad. Hopefully they do, you know, they sort of do the transition, but when the temperatures do really start to rise, sometimes I get a lot of, especially with a crypt, get a lot of dying off, and a lot of yellow leaves. The black water tank is not really black anymore. It is still a soft tank, mainly full of Bigfoot pencils and green neons, and my Tiger Pleco. I lost all my bar 1, my sparkling gouramis, no idea why. My chocolate gouramis, I've lost them, and my samurai gouramis that I had, 2 in here, 3 in there and 2 in there. You can see my previous videos, and they all passed. I have no idea why. It made me rethink the hobby. You think you're experienced and you've got a lot of experience under your belt, but these things happen and it sort of knocks you back on your ass, and you sort of think, what did I do wrong? Both of them were showing signs of spawning, the chocolates and the samurais, yet they passed. I mean, if there was an issue with the tanks themselves, with the environment, you would think that I would lose or lost these guys as well, or there be other issues, but no, the neons are loving it, the pencils love it. This is my 50 litre. So we've got some Gertrude rainbows in here. I've got a couple lamp-eye killies, liquish gouramis, which I think are awesome, heavily planted. And this was where my L134 leopard frog was living until this morning, and he passed. I think it was from old age. I did have that fish from probably 6 or 7 years. It was probably a year old or so when I got it. But yeah, it's sort of a bit of a kick in the guts. I really did like that fish, and you do not see those pop up in New Zealand very often. At the moment there was one goldfish in here. I've moved out. I've just chucked a couple of guppies in here just to keep it cycled. All the plants seem to be doing quite well considering the heat. At the moment I do give them a spray all the time, and like these ones here are just gone nuts. This tank here actually would be, and even without the plants in there, would be the most stable tank I've ever had. Never has it ever crashed, never have I really had any problems with anything really. I mean, yes, there is probably more plants than fish, so that does help, but it just seems to work. My Pisto tanks, my headstanders, these guys are doing very well. They eat a lot of everything really, and even the headstanders eat everything. But you see from my previous videos, these are my pair of redneck Vegetas. I had issues with introducing the male with the female because I did lose my other male a while ago. These guys have paired up finally. She goes into that cave where the peppercorns are and does her thing and tries to get him in there, but he just will not go in there at the moment. I think it will happen. It's just a matter of triggering them. She does do it every sort of water change, or when I feed her up a lot of live food, that triggers her again. So it's just a matter of finding the right combination, I think, and him playing ball. But that's cool. I like that. You know, it's that's the hobby. It's, you see them sort of doing their thing. She wants it, but he's just stubborn. He is young. I mean, he has put on a lot of size in the past couple of months because I've really fed him up, both of them really, because I do want them to spawn. I think when they really do, I'll move these headstanders out. I'm just paranoid about moving them because they are very finicky. I think if I do move them, they'll go into that 50 litre planted with the liquid gouramis. These are very similar conditions, water parameters. So this tank I will do water changes with rainwater, and also the black water tank where the pencils are. It just seems to work. This tank here balances. I mean, I'd like the pH to drop, but I did have some mollies in here quite a way back that I was breeding, and I did have some crushed coral in the substrate, so it's very hard to get the KH and etc down, the pH down. Even though I'm using rainwater, it still sits around 6-8. So I think it's just a matter of it doing its own thing, and I think one day these two will go off and we'll have some little wrigglers in there. I can move him out, which is good when the time comes, because she's a bully. She'll probably kill him. These two tanks here are basically free now. I'm just using them as sick tanks. So there's nothing really in. There's a few guppies and a couple of cories on the albino cories on the bottom, just to keep everything cycled. So this guy's getting medicated at the moment. And golden tiger barb, you had a big red spot on his eye. It seems to be coming right.